this video, we're going to take a look at how to work with categorical data by using Excel. And so what should we expect to see in this video? So we're going to look at categorical data and how to work with it. We're going to build a frequency distribution. Two of the main charts that we can build are going to be the bar chart and the pie chart. And then finally, I'm going to show you how to be able to label the graphs accurately. So notice down here in my tabs, I'm going to go over to this categorical data tab. All right, and let's just say for some reason, you're an administrative assistant and you're going through and you are just recording the number of majors in a particular science department for some reason. All right, so we have these people are math majors, biology majors, etc. One of the first things you have to do is you have to start by making a frequency distribution. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to say we have category and frequency, and we also have relative frequency, and then finally we have cumulative frequency. All right. And notice what I did was even beforehand, I kind of just spread these out so that it would look decently. So make sure when you're doing your assignments and also your work, make sure it looks like something that's pretty adequate. I'm going to go here and I'm just going to increase the size. I'm going to bold it by clicking on the bold. So that way now we have like these column headings. All right. Now what we can do is we can go through and just type in the different majors for the category. So we have math, biology, and then we have chemistry, engineering, and computer science. All right. Now, to figure out the frequency, what we're going to do is we're going to do this function. And a function in Excel starts with an equal. All right. So I'm going to do this with the function and without. To be able to count the number of items in a column, we're going to use equal a count. And then parenthesis, or count A, excuse me, not a count, count A, parenthesis. We're going to highlight, and notice even though the cells are blank, I'm highlighting all the way down to the last biology. All right, and I'll show you guys why in a minute. All right, then we're going to close that off, and we're going to hit enter, and it's going to be 6. All right, now clearly there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 math people. All right, so now what if I use count A without the equal sign? So I would just highlight this and nothing's going to happen. All right, so make sure you have the equal sign. If I spell it wrong, let's say I forget the T, so count A, all right, and I try to highlight it like I just did, it's going to come back with this hashtag name, okay, and that means that you just spelled it wrong or it doesn't recognize that function. So if you get the hashtag name, what I would suggest is just try it again and spell it correctly. All right, I'd say most of the time it's a spelling error. What I'm also going to do is, now another way to do this is just type in each time, but see this little box down here? Excel's smart and it'll just repeat patterns. So I'm going to grab this box and I'm just going to drag it. And notice what it does is it counts all of the different majors. All right, so there's 24 biology, 8 chemistry, and I'm just going to put them up here in the frequency column. So 6, 24, 8, 15, 12. All right. We can get the sample size by adding up the frequency column. So to add something up, I'm going to use the function equals sum, parenthesis, and then just highlight those observations. So there are 65 total. All right. So we could just say right here, n equals 65 if we wanted to type that in. All right. But again, that's equals sum, parenthesis, highlight the data, and that's how you can figure out the sum for that. Relative frequency. Since we know that n is equal to 65, we know that the first is going to be 6 out of 65. All right. Now, before we do that, all right, what we should probably do is we should highlight this and change the format of the cells. And let's just make them text, and I'll illustrate why we do that in a moment. So just like we saw in the last video, we're going to highlight these. We're going to right click. We're going to go to Format Cell, and we're going to click Text. Text basically means that whatever's in that cell is going to be in that cell, and Excel's not going to try to do anything to manipulate it. All right, so this is going to be 6 out of 65, and then we have 24 out of 65, and then we have 8 out of 65, and then we have 15 out of 65, and then finally 12 out of 65. All right, so really nice. cumulative, 6 out of 65. And then off to the side, we can just add these up. So equals 6 plus 24, which is 30. All right, notice I used an equal, so I'll do it again. Equals 6 plus 24, and that's 30 out of 65. And then right here, we can do the same thing. We could just do equal 30 plus 8, and I know that you know it's 38 out of 65. And then just do it again, equals 38 plus 15. So 53 out of 65, and then 12 more is going to give us 65 out of 65. All right, so that's how you can make your frequency distribution. Notice how nice and neat this is. You don't have to go through and do it by hand, although you do know how to use by hand to be able to do this. All right, so that's really cool that you can do it by hand. And now also you can use Excel to be able to produce a professional looking frequency distribution. For any sorts of projects in your courses, I would recommend doing it this way, because what you can do is you can just cut and paste it and then put it into a Word file very nicely. Another thing that I want to show you is how to utilize Excel to be able to get different charts. A bar chart is a really nice way to be able to illustrate a comparison. All right, so here's how you're going to get a bar chart. You're going to highlight the categories as well as the frequency. You're going to go up to this Insert tab, and you're going to go right here to this Insert Column or Bar Chart. So you're going to click down on this, and right here you're going to hover over it. And certainly you can click on all the different ones, but this is going to be the best one. That doesn't show you everything, but this is the best one that you can have. Notice that it gives you a really nice and neat chart. It doesn't put labels in there. So let me show you how to put the labels in very nicely. So we can do plus, and right here where it says Axis Titles, you're just going to click on that. All right, so right here, what you can do is you can say this is major in STEM, and then over here, you just click in that box and you can type frequency, all right? And the title of the chart, whatever you want to call it in this case. So we could say frequency of the majors in science. All right, so there we go. Really cool. We have a nice professional looking object. Again, just like up here, we can cut and paste this object and we can put it into a Word file. Okay, so let me just illustrate that really quickly. Really cool that we can get a new Word file and we can just cut and paste these and do all that stuff from it. All right, so what I can do is, if you wanted to, you could just highlight. I'm just going to do copy, and then in my Word file, I'm going to paste it, and there it is. I can spell engineering wrong. And then you can do the same thing here. You can right click, you can copy, and then you can go into your document and you can paste it if you choose to. And there you go. A very nice professional looking object inside of there. One last thing you can do is you can do a pie chart. All right, so let me show you how to get a pie chart. Just like before, you're going to highlight your data. You're going to go to Insert, and there's a pie right here. All right, so you can just click on it. There's a 2D pie. There's some other types, but we really only care about this one. All right, if you want to be fancy, you can do the 3D pie. I really don't care. The 3D pie looks a little bit nicer, but it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and use the 2D pie. I'm going to stretch this down a little bit, and I can make the file bigger if I want to, or excuse me, I can make the graphic bigger. I'm going to click on the plus, and I want to add data labels in there. So what I can do is I can actually see how many are in there. All right, and we can just go ahead and we can do it wherever. So this is pretty cool. This one actually looks really nice. If I was doing a professional presentation, I'd probably use this one just to make it really easy for everybody to see. And then finally, we know that this is our frequency of majors in science, right? So hopefully this helps you. And once again, what you can do is you can just cut and paste this into an Excel file or into a Word document, just like an object. And once again, it's a really nice professional looking document. Okay, so if you ever need to give a summary to your boss, this is bothering me a lot. If you ever need to give a summary to your boss or even to an instructor, if you're doing a laboratory report or something like that, or for your business classes, education classes, really useful to be able to work with your categorical types of data. All right, so hopefully this is helpful. In the last video in this series, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to work with quantitative data and be able to do the exact same thing, except this time we just have numerical data.